Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Nina's Chelsea Corner. If you're new round here, I hope you guys are doing well and have enjoyed your week. I'm back with a video talking about the potential arrival, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Victor Osimhen could potentially be coming to Chelsea in what could be a swap deal with Napoli. The swap will include somebody that we've been wanting to offload for the longest time now. Of course, Romelu Lukaku, and we're in a good position because Antonio Conte is very adamant, desperate to sign Lukaku, and we obviously want him gone, and that's the truth. It's a deal that benefits both parties. It's perhaps why we have more edge over perhaps another Premier League club, and it means you get what you want, we get what we want, essentially. But of course, we know it's not as simple as that. There is a lot of negotiation involved. There is a situation where Chelsea will be offering obviously another player. There's still a fee to be agreed. Romelu Lukaku, they probably won't meet the release clause that we have for him, which is 38. So, you know, as long as we can figure something out that still means the wages are offloaded, he's no longer on our books, and we can just kind of put that, rest it, and potentially have Victor Osimhen too, that benefits us massively, because we need to start thinking more about what we need and making these positive reinforcements. So yeah, we'll talk about this potential signing. We'll get into all the positives, perhaps negatives, and see if this could be something that Chelsea should go in for. We are just a day away from the start of the Premier League season. I'm really excited. I'm going to do a separate video talking about our transfers and of course just my general predictions on the season for Chelsea, what I expect, what should be met, and hopefully it's a good one, guys. We're going to be back at the Bridge every home game. I'll be there, of course, and I'll bring you as much content from there as I can. I'll be doing all of my regular match reviews as I have done, previews, and I've got another couple shows that I'll be doing, and I'm going to continue doing my Chelsea Fan TV shows as well. If you haven't subscribed, or if you're not watching Chelsea Fan TV, then please go over and check out the channel, subscribe. You can catch me on there as well. But yeah, it's an exciting year, guys, and one thing that is like for sure, and I know I've gone off on a tangent here, I know, but one thing is for sure, it's the fact that we're always so unpredictable. We never really know where we are going into a season, particularly in recent time with the takeover. There's something quite intriguing, quite exciting. The unknown scares me, but at the same time, why are you a football fan if you're, you know, not teased sometimes, if you're not worried sometimes, if you don't know what to expect from your team? And it's just the thrill of being a fan. So I'm excited, and I hope that this could be a positive step in the right direction for Chelsea, and it could really start with the signing that could potentially happen just days away from the window closing. But we're not going to get carried away. I understand the complexity of this deal. I understand that it could mean that we just offload Lukaku, and I'd be perfectly fine with that too, to be honest with you. However, I'm going to talk about why I do think that Chelsea will benefit from signing Victor Osimhen. I think, and I've said this for the longest time, that Chelsea spending at least a fraction of the money we did for a lot of our young wingers, some of our young midfielders, and even defenders that we brought in and have been question marks or have been perhaps overpriced, overvalued, and we've overpaid for what they've actually been worth and ready to deliver with. And there's many of them. If we'd spent just a fraction of that money on a prolific out and out number 9 that's proven last year, we could potentially have found ourselves in a much better spot, because I always like to say, take Cole Palmer out the equation. Where were the goals going to come from last season? Yeah, Jackson scored, you know, Sterling, there were other players on the score sheet, but a lot of our goals and assists came from Cole Palmer. And he's not a striker. He was a very brilliant player for us, a very good forward, a very good attacking player. But you can't place all of that hope again this season for Palmer to produce and replicate the numbers he did if he does, then fabulous, but he can't be carrying us again. We've spent enough money. There should be enough quality among the front line, in the front line, to be able to score goals. However, we know that if we look through and sort of scrutinise, you know, someone like Noni Madueke, who brilliant, sometimes perhaps that final end decision is not quite there. Jackson, someone who did produce, and yes, as a striker, you can say for his first season at Chelsea, he did pretty well, but does he continue this on this season? And then you've got someone like Mark Gill. Barely have seen the player, and he's 18. I'm not too sure. I want to completely just rely and hope this 18-year-old's going to be our 20 plus goal bagsman, and he probably isn't that. You look at Mudryk, doesn't produce the numbers. You worry and you wonder, will he produce the numbers? Sterling, great, but he's a question mark with his future at Chelsea, particularly this season. We've now got Pedro Neto, another brilliant reinforcement who can provide you numbers. But these, again, players you look at and you think, yeah, great, I'd like goals. But they're your playmakers, they are the assisters. And, you know, you look at Nkunku, same thing. But if we look at how many chances and how many more chances we were creating last season, that really did improve season on, particularly from like that latter stage of the end of like the Tuchel era, where we were slowly losing those creators, playmaking was lacking, we weren't creating chances. That's improved, but then again, we still lacked that kind of end product and the conversion. We could have scored so many more goals, right? And I just think there are many games, and I particularly look to the cup games where I almost think now I'm thinking FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City when we missed a lot of chances, and there was just so many games where I thought to myself, wow, if we had that really clinical striker there, it's a different story. And I truly think that was really important, and if it was addressed perhaps last season when there were more available and out there, we could have been in a different spot. We could be in a different spot, and especially moving forward, I still think it's an area that we absolutely have to address. So am I willing to bank on another youngster who, yeah, has potential, has done a good few things, has scored 10 goals in one season and shows very promising attributes? Or do I actually think, okay, look, we've got someone like a Victor Osimhen, he's done it season in, season out, he's now got a little bit of consistency going on there. He has earned the title, the name of one of the best strikers out there currently, and he is keen on a move. And guess what, guys? That's a pretty big deal, because, you know, you see this more and more now where people are saying, well, how are Chelsea going to attract players? You know, you're not in the Champions League. Why would a Victor Osimhen join Chelsea? What, to play in the Conference League and this and this and that? When his ceiling is so high, and he could, you know, go off and play Champions League football. But you like to think that if the player is open, then there is hope. They believe in a project. Now, rival fans, you can call me delusional, or you could call me silly for thinking this way. But I think that if he comes and he replicates his goals and everything else, then this could be a really beneficial, a huge, massive deal, and it could elevate us to the next level. And I'll give you another reason, guys. I'm worried about our defence this season, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. I can say that I am more heavily optimistic about our attacking talent, our wealth of attackers that we now have that could get you the numbers, but I'm worried equally about conceding. There is a lot of threat now. A lot of Premier League clubs have also strengthened their front line, so it's that issue with, we kind of need to be scoring goals. We really do need to be scoring goals if we are going to be conceding, and if that's going to be an issue that we're going to need to gradually fix throughout the season. So yeah, I'd like myself a Victor Osimhen at Chelsea. And seriously, guys, like, the fact that this has been such a long pursuit, and Chelsea have kind of been in for anyone and everyone pretty much these days, but Victor Osimhen has consistently, every window, been thrown in there. Just as a little whisper, just as a little kind of, you know, word of mouth, and we have just brushed it off every window, and now it could potentially, and again, not getting carried away here, but talks are happening. It is an ongoing thing that's happening, and if this is true and Chelsea are in talks with Napoli, then we're quite busy ahead of the Premier League weekends, because obviously the whole Joao Felix, Conor Gallagher, Atletico Madrid saga is still kind of being sorted on the side. If we're fuffling around with so many different things and deals at the same time, then yeah, we're quite busy. But again, I just think, and I hope, obviously, that the players that we've brought into our front line can produce you the numbers. You know, if we're relying on this whole, well, you know, we've got our young strikers, let's see what they can do, because we've also got the, you know, those wingers and the 10s that can score you goals, that can provide you the assists, and we can totally bank on them, then fine. I just don't want it to be a case where we get, you know, further down the line and we are having chances created, and we're missing that target man. And look, this is not me saying that Mark Gill, I meant to say, and Nicholas Jackson, Mark Gill and Nicholas Jackson. It's not to say that they shouldn't be given a chance and that they're not good enough. There is plenty of games for them to both get game time and to improve. And look, I don't know what's going to happen with Mark Gill. Is he someone that is viewed as a competitor to Nicholas Jackson? They will be rotated, etc. I don't know. Are there plans for Nkunku to be our number 9? I hope not, and I don't think that's going to be the case. But you know, the point is that it's a lot of expectations placed on 2 youngsters, because I still think Jackson is, you know, very young, very raw. But then you also are faced with the problem. Then there's a lot going on in the front line, particularly on our wingers department. And yes, news has kind of come out now that, you know, Noni Madueke has been he's not been put up for sale, to say, but he has kind of been considered probably as the most highly regarded winger in terms of who they can sell, like who there's a market for. And it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I don't think Madueke should be sold. I think if you want to look at other players to be sold, then you should look elsewhere. I will say no more. But guys, I'm intrigued to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know, would you like Osimhen at Chelsea, and does it excite you? Could this happen, and will it happen? Well, we'll find out soon. Probably in the next few days it will be a bit clearer what's going on with that, but we're all in anticipation to see what happens. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have done so, please leave a like. It really helps the channel out, and sign of an appreciation as well from me to you for supporting the channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I will see you in the next one. Up the